Welcome back, everybody.
Ooh.
We're going insane here. We're going into game number 3, the last game of the day. Looking at the timer right now, we're going into 10 hours of this stream, okay? We've been here for almost 10 hours. But so excited for D-Lab versus the Professors. Let's get into the draft. Shortly here in just a moment. Okay, so it's not a sweep, it's a 2-1. Mr. Meds, what does the Professors need to do to win this last game?
I think there's two things that we need to focus on here. We need to take away the Sev, as we've seen many other teams do. We've seen Lauber be an absolute menace on that champion. And 2, pick up that Narbash. I think Crazy Fool being that big Narbash player, I think we want him on that priority pick.
Well, we see the tradition of banning FaZe. I'm wondering if they just don't want to play it, don't want to play against it, or if they just have an idea. Maybe they're going to whip it out if they get to the next round as like a surprise and surprise everyone else. And I'm guessing Dirty Lake and the boys are just going to ban the Deca that they've been doing this whole series long. Yeah, as you see the Deca there. So, yeah, I mean, as you said, like, the Sevrog priority is through the roof. I wouldn't see that changing. And also, it seems that Greystone is a higher priority on the Dirty Lake and the boys' tier list. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that again. As for the supports, I mean, we've seen Bellica, we've seen Narbash, and we've seen
Richter.
Yeah, the Richter last game didn't get much value in the early stages. It got like a blink early, and then it kind of like went to mid lane, got a pick, went back to duo, got a pick, and it kind of like snowballed from there. So it was like, we didn't get the early game pressure I was expecting, but it did kind of get value.
Yeah, I'd say that Richter got value. If, you know, not in the early game, like you're saying, but we did see Crazy Fool hitting a lot of clutch hooks towards that mid to late game. You know, that big hook, you know, that kind of, I would say kind of maybe like a turning point is that hook in the mid lane against the Epi Picker. We do see a Gideon come in for Professors. We did see Finesse 2 pilot that one last game. He did miss a couple ults here and there, but I think the space that the Gideon provides is actually really good and allowed for, you know, Survivor to do his thing. So I think this is a really good pickup for Professors.
Yeah, it didn't get as much value as Epipicker did. Obviously, it wasn't as impactful, but I'm hoping that Epipicker doesn't pick Howards here. It just didn't look like it was doing much. It needs to dominate the laning phase and just create pressure and just roam, but it doesn't really have to push that the Gideon does, and doesn't really set the tempo, and it just didn't get enough done. I mean, apart from the odd escape in mid lane, absorbing a lot of pressure, it didn't do anything outside the laning phase. And Twin Blast, that was very good on Lake and Air in the first game, and the Sevrog, as we were talking about. Lorba last game was such a beast in getting ahead, and it just never really went into anything because he was always by himself absorbing a one-off 5 people, and it just wasn't working. So hopefully the Lake and the boys have damaged this game, and Lorba can get into that state again and just play front to back.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that Professors need to be, you know, we do see the Richter and the Fang Mao come in here again. Maybe we'll see a little bit of a salty run back without the Twin Blast. But I do think that Professors need to pick up and prioritize their AD in this first pick of the second round if the Drongo doesn't get banned out here. I think Drongo is that kind of second tier pick when you're talking about taking down these tanks with that rad rounds damage that can come out. So I really think that they need to put a priority on that. If not, you know, I think they're going to go for this Murdoch that we've seen, you know, Survivor play. We do see the Chimera come in here. I think that's very good. And we've seen a lot of success in it. So excited to see that one.
Yeah, Grady in game 1 obviously showed its potential. It allowed him to kind of play the way he wants to play and looks like he wants to play, which is W key, pushing to the enemy jungle and just go ham, and hopefully not do what he did in the second game, which was get a little bit overzealous and in Narnia, so to speak. And obviously, as you said, I think that Dirty Lake and the boys should prioritize banning and filling away that ADC pool and getting rid of the Drongo, because as we've seen in the past, that Survivor is relatively comfortable on it, and it also puts him on something it might not be comfortable with, like you said, the Murdoch or the Kira, because Revenant isn't really insane at killing tanks. And as we say that, there's the Drongo ban. It's almost like I'm reading a script or something, but that's the ban.
Yeah, not surprised. Like you're saying, I think it's just that comfort pick for Survivor and that tank killing power of that rad rounds. So I'm wondering what they're gonna pick up here. I think maybe Kira for Professors, but we do see Bellica ban. I think that is a good ban. We've seen that Toasty has piloted that one before, but that opens up the Narbash pick again for either one of these teams.
Yeah, it also removes it from the mid lane, because as we see here, Dirty Lake and the boys haven't taken the Bellica yet, and there must be a reason why they haven't taken the gadget this game and they prioritize the Howitzer over it. So I'm wondering if they just don't want to play it, or the mid laner doesn't have it in his blocker. But we do see the Narbash, as you said, taking it again. Hopefully they can get through the laning phase a little bit better in this scenario, and try and replicate what they did in game 1. I'm wondering if this is Richter against him in the support role. I guess we'll find out. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think that we're going to see the Richter go against the Snarbash. I think Crazy Fool had a good game on the Richter. And as we are saying that, I think that is going to be confirmed, that it's going to be the Revenant and the Richter in that dual lane against that Twin Blast Narbash. That's a hard combo to say, but I think that's going to be a really good lane. I think Revenant has that early poke with the Q, and the Richter kind of creates that space with the threat of the Whiplash.
Yeah, I think if Lova gets into a state that he was in last game, I'm kind of looking at this comp and thinking like, what really kills him? But obviously he has to get into that state to say that. But obviously the gadgets around at the comp, I think this comp is a lot better. From Dirty Lake and the boys, it kind of goes back to game 1 addition with the gadget instead of the Gideon. Hopefully AppyPK can get a lot more done with this than they did with the Howitzer. But yeah, as you said, this composition for Dirty Lake and the boys is a lot better. Not too sold on the Professor's comp.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sold on it either. I think this Greystone is going to have to stay in lane and try to contest the Sevarog a lot, or else there's going to be a lot of tanky boys running at your face, and I'm not sure that they can deal with it.
All right. Well, when it comes to the draft, Cynic, you're saying Dirty Lake and the boys?
Yep.
It's going to be Dirty Lake and the boys. And for you, Mr. Meds, Professor, MD, PhD?
I mean, I prefer Dirty Lake and the boys draft, but I'm really pulling for Professors here. Yeah.
This is going to be a banger of a match. The final game of the day before we go into, our next broadcast, which will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss it. Let's give it up for the final game of the day, F6 and Lance.
How's it going, guys?
I was not ready to be on camera. We're used to just cutting straight into it, but we have to talk about these compositions here. Every single game in this series so far, the Twin Blast and the Chimera have been the ones that come out ahead. What is Professors going to be able to do to turn the tides that have been flowing in this series so far?
They're gonna, oh my goodness, a 4-5
They're gonna have to do this,
and they get the pick off in 45 seconds, and that's what they have to do right there, Lance. They have to get an early pick, and boy, oh boy, that was
early. Who gets
early.
it though? Because this is very important. Did that go over onto the Revenant? And it looks like it is the Revenant who's gonna pick that up. So Survivor already off to a nice little start, gonna make this laning phase very, very good for him. It looks like they also got the blink out of Lobber there. So expect Nitro to hover over onto that side of the map, push Violence even further ahead if he can get it there. A lot of assists go over for Professors there as well. I believe every single member on the team should have received one. So that is just going to be great for this early tiny gold advantage that they're going to try to funnel in. And another hook lands from Crazy Fool. That's 2 blinks down, 1 minute and 30 seconds into the game for D-Lab. So I was trying to come into this talking about how the Narblast lane, the Twin Bash, however you want to say it, how strong this lane may be and how they may be able to take advantage of it. But down a blink early like this, that's going to be hard for them to play from, especially with Survivor already getting that first blood as well. These obliterates are going to pour in damage, and poor Lobber getting ganked again already. That's going to go over to Violence, and it is not looking pretty for Dirty Lake and the boys.
Did they turn on a kill switch going into game 3? Because I don't know what's happening, but this is a different side of the Professors, and I think they took out their textbooks and they're out here reading it right now.
Yeah, and Toasty, you know, without that blink now already being targeted as well, Grady's going to come in with a little bit of a counter gank. Survivor's up a little further away than he wants to be. He does deal a lot of damage, but he's way across enemy lines there, unable to get himself out. So the counter kill, the counter, you know, to stop the bleeding, the bandage starts to come out for them. Grady's able to make the impact with the tempo that we've seen out of Chimera this entire tournament. Really good for them. They needed that for the mental. You do not want to be down 3-0 in a game 3, backs up against the wall, trying to make the finals of PCC 5, the largest event that has ever been held in Predecessor. You know, great for them. They need that for their minds.
They do need it because what the start of that Professors did was just outstanding, and just being able to pick up a kill there just to kind of get themselves back into the game. And I think Grady is going to be the key to their success to getting back on top, but they're going to have to do a lot more than just get 1 kill off in the duo lane, because right now Violence is up with a kill. Looks like he's up on another green buff, and Larber still doesn't have a blink for another 2 minutes going into this game.
Yeah, and that's going to be dangerous. Violence is going to be able to apply so much pressure. We talked during our last game, F6, about how much early game pressure that Feng Mao has over the Sevarog, because we saw this exact same matchup in the last one, and it was going towards the side of Violence. And once again, we have that early as Lobber's kind of getting picked on here.
Yeah, he's getting bullied over inside this off lane, but he's going to be able to go back into that late game Sevarog still. He still has that potential, so he might not be as far as ahead as he was last game, but there's still going to be a turning point for Sevarog to come into this once he builds up enough stacks, being able to get at least 1 or 2 items underneath his belt to make him just a big boy.
And Nitro's looking for potentially a posture here, but actually maybe pushing the B button. Can't really tell. Crazy Fool's going to have to land a hook if anything is going to happen here, but I think the health bars are just a little bit too low. Got to respect the damage from the Twin Blast, the healing from the Narbash. That lane is very, very potent, and especially at this stage of, you know, the game, or actually not quite at this stage of the game, but still needs to be respected throughout the entire course of it. Grady's going to come up here, look for an invade, but that 5 camp has already been taken, so nothing for him to do. A nice little stoppage of the back onto Nitro. They're going to waste a little bit of his time. We continuously talk about tempo, and we're going to continue to do it. Stops a second back, too. Lakeinator, oh, actually, it doesn't look like it did stop it, but Lakeinator just being an absolute pest over there.
Yeah, we see Grady trying to invade this side of Professors, but there's just nothing up for him. Survivor just kind of holding his own. Richter's coming back in off a fresh back, so Lakeinator's going to have to be careful. He wants to poke, but he's running low on mana. Then Finesse 2 just going to torn space out. Not too much there. Nitro's there to kind of come in for the counter gank, and Grady, you are down bad right now, because that was a great pickup from Finesse 2 and Nitro. Nitro aware of what was going on and was able just to be there. Back hole coming out, but not sure that was actually needed. Should have just kind of back there and kind of just left it. But what a great pickup from Nitro and the Professors. And right now this lead is looking great.
Man, and they're just not going to let Abby go. They're going to chase him underneath this tier 2 or this tier 1 tower, able to pick him up and blink out of it as well. So once again, a kill coming on to Violence, a champion very, very capable of snowballing in the Feng Mao as well. And here we go. He's going to try to base. Lucky Grady didn't just get sent all of the way back to the fountain. I have seen that happen when you're jumping to the backing people before. That would have been fantastic to catch live in a PCC event. Didn't get to see it, which is great for Grady because it would have been a little unfair to him. But Toshi's going to clear these minion waves out of here, and D-Lab needs to take a second, and they need to breathe. If we can get a tab screen quick, we got to look at the kill advantage that Professors has in it 1-4 right now in favor of the Scholars. You know, we see Survivor 1-1. Actually, it's pretty well spread out amongst all of them. Crazy Fool's the only one who doesn't have a kill, has an assist to his name though. Violence 2 assists for himself as well, all hovering around that 42, 43 CS. Finesse 2 up at 50 actually, working his way towards the combustion, and they are just doing a whole lot to start pressuring them. The cleaver has got completed for Grady, so he's going to have a little bit faster clear, be able to get to his waves to help them out a little more. A slight CS advantage for Professors at this moment as well, but nothing really to write home about it. It's just like a constant 20 advantage right now.
Yeah, but they still have enough of a lead. We started this off, they had a 20 CS lead. Now they're roughly around a 30. So watch out for Professors to start this snowball that they already have going and pushing it further. It's really going to come down to this first Fangtooth fight, this neutral objective, to really see what's going to be going on throughout this rest of the game. But we have Nitro pressuring on over here. He lands the hook on Crazy Fool, forces another blink out, and that's going to create enough pressure. And if I'm not wrong, they're going to be looking to push this wave and go over towards the Fangtooth. But man, Crazy Fool is on it this game, and he's here for that $3,500 prize.
Yeah, and I think that there was a communication here because we saw Appy Picker drop the Tesla Dome in mid lane so he could get a reset, and he is coming back stronger. But now Professors has got the team fight advantage in this fight over the Fangtooth, where they still have the black hole available to him, but the Tesla Dome is not going to be able to be that zoning tool. So D-Lab is going to have to forfeit this as Grady's on the 3 camp as they're taking it down. Finesse 2 is going to drop a rock down on it just to say that he was there to help his friends. But the hunt should come out any second here, and that's going to be Fangtooth 1, first neutral objective of the game, going to Professors in this game 3, deciding game of the day.
As we see, they got it a lot earlier than the other 2 games, right? We're looking at 8 minutes going into for their first Fangtooth. Got that pressure out, and I was telling you about this earlier. I was like, hey, this first neutral objective is really going to tell you of how much pressure they really have in this game. And from the looks of it, the pressure is just so much. They kind of just let that one go because they want to get back into this game. And I think that was a good call from Dirty Lake and the boys. Give up that first neutral objective. Get your footing a little bit better onto this map just so you can contest number 2 and 3.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to survive to that point. And right now, if they take that fight, they might be so far behind by the time that the second and third one spawn that there's no way to contest those either. They definitely are losing a team fight in this situation because, like, as we mentioned, the Tesla Dome was down. Nitro's going to ult immediately upon meeting Grady here. No level 6 for Grady, so he is in a bit of trouble, but Survivor's going to come over to try to help out as well. Grady's going to get himself free and clear, just gonna run back into his own blue side jungle. Violence once again stalking over on the complete opposite side of the map, allowing Lobber to just sit there and catch those waves, scale up, and Grady once again in trouble, down 2 levels onto Violence here, only gonna take a little bit more, doesn't even need to use the ult, gonna put on a nice fashion accessory with the hat onto Violence as well, but that's no damage when he's all the way up here. Lobber's looking to take this first tower over here in the right lane, but only has 2 more minions in here. Probably not going to be able to knock that down, maybe with the next wave, but just like that, Nitro is here in order to be able to defend this. So Lobber's not going to be able to really push this in, but it is Lobber who's got the level advantage here. Contrary to what we had just seen, 2 levels up for the side of D-Lab in this fight if they continue to go at it. Also, no ult on the side of the Greystone as we saw him use it early in that interaction with the Chimera.
I mean, honestly, the Violence rotation was worth that tower damage he took. He was able to get a kill on Grady. Keeping Grady behind is the key. We talked about it earlier. Getting Grady to really rotate throughout this map and provide that aggression that comes with Chimera is really what's going to get them back into this game. And the fact that they're keeping him down is just so great. Big Thumb comes in for Survivor there. You might have Big Skewer comes out to peel for Survivor, but Big Call coming in is down goes Survivor. Crash Bam Boom comes in, but it's not going to be enough to get it double kill. But that was a great pickup there on Survivor TV.
Yeah, and you know, once again, you see Grady coming over here, trying to make an impact with the champions that have had the biggest impact on this series so far. The Chimera. We saw how much Toasty popped off in the first game with the Narbash, but he's gonna get pulled into the tower. Crazy Fool's not missing. He's gonna catch a drumstick to the face in retort, though, and Lakeinator and Toasty are gonna be able to retreat back to safety. Not a massive threat, as there is no damage to follow the hook into the tower once Toasty is able to exit the perimeter.
But that did apply enough pressure to warrant them to back off there, not to push that tower as much as they wanted to. So as we see another Tesla Dome coming out to clear this wave, I'm guessing there's just a call to kind of just push the wave, get pressure, keep Finesse 2 inside the mid lane to get Gadget to be able to rotate, but not too much coming out of that. So I'm wondering why these Tesla Domes are just coming out randomly, especially when they're not looking for these neutral objectives.
So as everybody's favorite Gadget main, the only real thing that I can say to make sense of why he's doing this is he is just trying to keep that tier 1 tower up, try to keep the map from being unlocked. He's currently sitting at about 200 gold away from getting that Megacosm. Really, Gadget doesn't have that much potential to do that much to anybody until she gets that, unless she catches somebody really low. With this wave, yeah, she's 100 gold away from completing the Megacosm with what's in her item slot right now. So probably just trying to push herself towards that as fast as she can. The cooldown on the Tesla Dome is short, but not really at this stage in the game, as she is only level 9, I apologize. That does mean it's only level 1 ultimate, so a little questionable to see her use 2 to clear it. But, I mean, her tower is in almost pristine health. Finesse 2 has done a little bit of damage to it, but you would think with committing the resource of your ultimate, you'd have damage done to their tower, and that's not happening. Nitro's got his eyes set on this mini prime now, actually.
Yeah, and then Gadget already has pushed back into the lane, and now that Gideon's rotating over, this is going to look like her 3v2 slithering away. Big ult coming in from Finesse 2. Lauber smashes Violence away, has to blink out, and that's why you really can't do anything to a Sev. But the fact that the pressure coming in from the Gideon, you see it there. They was able to just push that wave into the Gadget, able to rotate with the torn space and apply that, and they're looking to pressure out this off lane. Sev has to back here. He's going to have to answer back at this wave as well, and I think they're going to go look towards this mini prime one more time.
Yeah, actually, it looks like they got a reset coming out of Nitro. So, you know, they had to burn the flash out of Lauber, but mission accomplished, as it does stop them from taking the mini prime buff. The second Fangtooth is live and on the map, and all of D-Lab are starting to just run towards it. Actually, Lauber's going to stay over in the other lane, but 4 members are going to commit to this. The healing is coming out from Toasty, and they're just going to burn this down as fast as they can. Professor's going to pressure in towards them here, but it's going to take a nice hook out of Crazy Fool to really get the engage that Professors is looking for. Actually going to use it onto the Fangtooth, not able to quite get the out smite onto it, and now Professors has to run away, as there's a good spot in here for Dirty Lake and the boys. The Tesla Dome's going to come out right on top of 2 of them. That's what you like to see if you are Gadget. Nitro's going to have to use the Greystone ult and then jump away, but that's a 1-for-0 trade in favor of D-Lab, starting to inch their way back into this game, tying up the Fangtooth score, getting a kill back their direction, gonna get their tier 1 taken in mid against them. So Professor's evening up that trade just a little bit, but that's still what you like to see out of D-Lab. They got some fight left in them.
They do. They're coming back. They're fighting for these neutral objectives. They did not just give up. I mean, what a great call. We saw that happen in game 2 as well. They're like, hey, I know we just died in that fight, but like, hey, we're going to go over to this Fangtooth. But Lauber's just throwing a little bit more damage on Violence here. Those rotations are kind of coming back. Lauber's is now a level up, a little bit more than that. I don't think you want to make this fight, Violence. He's the big boy at this point in the match.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to either, and no members from either of the team other than Finesse are roaming over here to do it, so it is a 2v1, but Lauber might be able to turn this. Violence has got to run away. The Black Hole's going to go a little wide of where Lauber's at, so he's going to have to put it into reverse and move away. Actually, Violence is still here as well, but very, very low. Going to use the shield, going to get the execute off, going to fire it twice just for fancies, and just like that, it is going to be Lauber falling once again, who is just continuously being targeted and picked on by this Professor's team in this game.
Yeah, that rotation coming in from Gideon once again to help out Violence over there on the off lane, creating that much more pressure. I mean, Lauber's still doing one heck of a job by being able to keep his farm up, being able to keep himself alive in this fight, because he knows there's going to be a time in this game where it comes down to a big team fight. And as long as he's still at least at equal level or just a little bit higher, he's going to be able to turn the tides whenever it's in his favor.
Yeah, every single time. And that's what you've just seen happen over and over again. And, you know, they do have a crazy fool on their team, but it's kind of insane what they're doing, continuously running their head into this brick wall with this Sevarog pick into the Professors. It's been shown time and time again that Violence can play into this champion and he can dominate a lane into him. We see a little bit of a skirmish coming out from the duo lane, but Toshi's going to be able to bring himself and Lakeinator back up to full HP. Lakeinator is going a different build than what we saw from Survivor last game, but what we did see out of Survivor in the very first game, or what we saw out of him in the very first game with that Mind Razor and, you know, with that on-hit ability, probably going to go into the Infernum second, maybe the Pain Weaver, and, you know, there's Lobber, you know, scaring Nitro and making him have to run away.
I mean, I'd be a little bit scared too with a big guy from Death running at me with shoulder pads bigger than I am. So, I mean, there's not too much to say there, right? He's under level compared to an offlaner, even though they're beginning pressure. But Lobber's about to hit level 12 here.
Violence just reaping dash forward against him here. I think he's just feeling confident enough to take this fight as the level gap has been. Oh, actually, there's going to be level 12 for Lobber. So there is still one level up on him. But at this point, it's starting to get a little bit mute. One level is not going to make that much of a difference against the Feng Mao. But Dirty Lake and the boys are going to turn their attention over to this mini prime. Professors are wise to it, though. You got to watch out for this black hole from Finesse 2. Crazy Fool's got the skewer potentially as well. Gonna walk in and get rooted. Nitro has dived into the back lane. Not quite sure who was going to get it, but the big black hole is going to come on top of the Tesla Dome. Nitro's going to pop his ult as Toti is in there, not able to complete the crash bang boom, and Crazy Fool is falling low as well. Gonna miss the blink up into that. He's got to be careful. Lobber's going to be able to get him. The Nitro, or the ambush, is going to come out from Grady as well, and that is not great for the Professors. Lobber's actually going to follow the torn space as well, but that's going to be to his death. Going to try to hammer down Finesse 2, but he's going to be able to escape with his life. And it actually looks like it was Nitro who was able to claim that mini prime buff, as you do see the Greystone glowing purple.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good fight initially, but the chase after was not worth it. But good job on Nitro to be able to secure that in such a chaos, and was able to kind of pick it up, and Professor's cleaning it up there. Now you see Violence kind of pushing back into that Seb, but as we saw while that fight was happening, Lakeinator was able to just put a lot of pressure on that Rev inside the duo lane and get that T1 down finally and put pressure on top of Rev. So Fangtooth is coming up here shortly in about the next 20 seconds. So another big team fight coming up out of nowhere, and a lot of ults have been used for the mini prime, so it won't be available for this Fangtooth.
Yeah, and we are even on tier 1 towers that have fallen in this game. One apiece, or two apiece down for each team. I believe our kill score is pretty relatively even as well. One Fangtooth apiece for this, as they are posturing for the third one that has spawned in this game. Actually, it looks like Professors are just going to run in and start swinging the swords around. Going to start the fight with it. Lobber is actually near both, or the inhib over in the right lane. So if this starts, it's going to be a 4v5. Grady trying to take his blue buff. I think they're doing this without them seeing it. Yeah, no wards, but you'd figure that they would be at least semi-wise to it, deciding to just concede it. That's going to be second Fangtooth in the movement speed buff out of combat, going over to Professors here.
I think they just understood that they didn't have the positioning to really contest that, because you already had Lobber rotating over to the duo lane or the off lane. Gadget was over by the 2 camp on their side, so they didn't really have the potential to really contest. If they were, they'd kind of throwing the game at that point. So I think it was a smart play. It's not the third Fangtooth, so it's not really of a huge big team fight difference, and I think they have the team fight going inside the mid to late game here, so I don't think they're too worried about it. But what they do have to worry about, though, is that extra gold in the pockets of Professors going into this next fight.
Yeah, and you know, D-Lab's got to climb inside of Lakeinator's backpack. They got to accept this carry and play around this Twin Blast. The only person in the game that is positive for them right now, sitting at 3-0 as well. They have to protect him. If they can get that shutdown onto a high priority target that can really take advantage of that purse for Professors, that could spell a lot of trouble for D-Lab, as he is most of their damage, most of their gold at this point in the game. So we're turning into a protect the president sort of gameplay for D-Lab, which is great. They have a lot of tools to be able to do that. The crash bang boom, the Sevarog peels so well. If you need to turn a Chimera to do peeling as well, very capable of performing those duties when called upon.
I mean, and that's the same thing goes for Professors, though. They're going to be able to protect that Revenant. The Revenant's going to be able to burst down a lot of these squishy characters like the Gadget. Twin Blast in the back. So if they're also able to pressure on Lakeinator, and if they're not able to peel well enough, I think they're going to be able to keep this rolling on their side. I mean, Survivor right now is not doing the best against Lake, but to say again, I mean, it is a Rev. Once a Rev's able to get all of that obliterate on top of you and get that 4th shot in, there's really not much you can do unless he's way far behind, which he is not currently.
Yeah, and honestly, kudos to Lakeinator for being 3-0 right now. The disadvantage he was at level 1 in this game was pretty strong. His support blew his flash. His enemy ADC had gotten first blood, already had that kill, came in with an extra short sword. So he was at a disadvantage from the get-go, finds himself at an advantage now, which is just, you know, a testament to how good of a player Lakeinator truly is.
Wonderful player indeed, Lance. This is why he's up in this top inside of these semifinals, going into trying to contest even worse timing potentially at the finals tomorrow. But Lauber is in a bad position. There's 3-4 members of Professors. He took a lot of damage there, but he's still a Sevarog, so he's not going to be too worried. But Violence is still trying to apply this pressure. They're looking towards this prime buff, and I think both teams are aware of each other and what we're trying to do.
Yeah, they only have to kill 3/4 of a Sevarog instead of a whole Sevarog now, so they'll take the little bit of poke as they can. They should definitely be looking to re-engage that. And a big hook is going to come out of Crazy Fool directly into the Riplash as well. Gonna get taken into the Netherrealm by Survivor, who's gonna flash over the 5 camp wall in order to finish Grady up, and the hunt is on the Professor's Sea Blood. Another hook comes from Crazy Fool as he's gonna be able to pull in the gadget as well. Toasty now retreating. Finesse is just out of range with that rock, but that is 2 down for 1 in favor of the Professors here. The Fang Mao, the only one gone, but I believe the health bars are too low to turn onto this or prime at this spot.
Might be too low, but my man Crazy Fool is big crazy with another hook, and down goes the Sevarog. Lakeinator, you need to be careful here. You don't have a lot. Toasty's running out of mana. Can they cleaning up? Down he goes. Another one bites the dust. Crazy Fool is going fishing today, and he's catching all the fish he can get his eyes on. My word.
Yeah, Lakeinator does trade back the kill onto Finesse 2 under that tier 1 tower though, but they end up trading it for their support. Quick recognition of the fact that they aren't going to be able to change this. See Grady walk over a ward. They're going to try to catch him with his pants down here. Grady needs to be careful. This is 4v1. That's not what you're looking. They thought he was already going to be on it. We'll just reset that kill timer for you quick, Grady.
Yeah, go ahead and think about that one, Grady. I don't think that was the play, but the rest of the D-Lab is here, turning it out on Crazy Fool. Violence looking low. Can he escape? He has to dash out. That is a good trade going into this. Gonna stop Professors from really contesting this Orb Prime. Might have been bad for Grady, but also bad for the Professors for trying to lazy back, and that was a good play coming out of Dirty Lake and the boys.
Yeah, you know, a lot of the times in your solo queue games, in your less experienced games, you start flaming the decision from Grady there. What are you walking up alone for? Not Dirty Lake and the boys. They believe in the decision making, the calls that Grady are making. They say, we will follow you. It does not matter. And they end up being able to turn it around, stop some of this pressure. But we got another fight. A big black hole comes up on top of all of them on the Greystone ult as well. That is so much damage coming through. Toasty's just going to get absolutely deleted. Lauber is turning tail as well. 3 members for Dirty Lake and the boys still down. Primal Fangtooth is up. Professors is turning towards it. Gonna ride this T-Rex into the next phase of the game.
What just happened there? They thought they caught my man Nitro out of position, but he says, I'm not going to pull Grady here. And Grady's going to try and contest, but there's not much you can do.
Reset
and down
it again for you, Grady.
Goes. Lauber definitely cannot contest here. 4 members down on Dirty Lake and the boys. Primordial Fangtooth going into the hands of the Professors. What can you do at this point? Because they're going to go straight to Orb Prime. They're just going to reset. There's not much you can take from them. That's their 3rd Fangtooth, the power spike, the teamwork coming in from Professors. Look at the 38 assists to 18. Yeah. What is going on?
It is unfortunate to see that, but you know, Grady is making these right decisions being in these spots. It is a little unfortunate as he has fallen behind the curve a little bit in the gold. just, you know, a little bit behind with where the kill score is at right now, but he has to be at that Primordial Fang pit fight. He has to be able to try to slow them down, do something, because you cannot just give that away. Got to do something. Unfortunately, they were privy to the fact that he was going to be walking around. That's going to cost them the Primordial Fang Tooth. Probably going to cost them the Orb Prime here as well, but Grady is alive and awake, but Lakeinator's on the other side. They are going to concede this, it looks like.
There's not much they can do here. There's not much they can do. I've said it once and I've saying it again. The amount of teamwork that comes out of the Professors when they're on top of their game, the fact that they're able to just team fight so well, you see it time and time again throughout game 2 and game 3 going in here. And my, oh my, I am just flabbergasted about how well they'll be able to do this, and they're just competing and they're playing their hearts out right now. And honestly, with double buffs going into this, only T2's up right now. You see them pushing into all these 3 lanes. You see them going to be applying this pressure. T2's are going to be down within the next 30 seconds to a minute. They're going to apply pressure on the inhibs, and that's really when it's come down to one more team fight. Can Dirty Lake and the boys defend one more time to save themselves, to keep themselves in this game a little bit longer? And we're going to have to find out here, Lance.
Yeah, I mean, the tier 2s are still up, so probably not any realistic game-ending potential here unless they get a full RGS Ace team wipe out of them. But these tier 2s are going to be the prize for getting double buffed up this Saturday evening at this point. As we started in the morning, have worked our way all to the evening. This is our 3rd game 3 of the day, and this is what it is all about. Professors fighting for this final appearance tomorrow, trying to get back to a spot that they have been before, where they lost in 5 games to Pink Ravens, then known as Immune. They want to get back. They want their redemption. They want to take out the defending champions, and they're going to try to do it through this mid lane inhibitor.
And they applied pressure throughout these T2s. We got Violence on the off lane. We got Gideon inside the duo applying pressure. This 1-3-1 just pushing, applying, slowly dwindling away at Dirty Lake and the boys. Can they finish this? Can they apply the pressure? This is the time. This is it right now, Lance.
Yeah, and there's a lot of gold in the pocket of that Gideon that we were just showing, almost 3,000, but it's no time to base right now. They have to be pressuring them, as once again, they're gonna work a wave into this tier 1 tower. But the defense from Dirty Lake and the boys, we've talked about it several times, and it's showing through here. They did an okay job of being able to stop that, clear that minion wave out. Unfortunately, the push is too relentless for them to stop. That's going to be 1 inhib down. That's going to be 2 inhib downs. Look over here. That's going to be all 3 inhibs down. It looks like, oh, maybe not. Maybe I spoke too soon, and they're going to be able to clear this. But D-Lab needs to be so careful. They are 1 team fight away, 1 big crazy full hook away from this game being over, and them fighting for 3rd and 4th instead of 1st or 2nd. And it's all going to come down to this next 45 seconds for if D-Lab has any life left in them.
Crazy Fool's going to be looking for a hook. He's just zoning out. He's waiting for a big skewer, but he misses on top of Lava. There's a black hole on top of Grady in the back line. They're going to have to retreat for Dirty Lake and the boys, but nobody goes down. Are they going to be able to apply this pressure? Minion waves are respawning. Lance, they have 1 more attempt to defend here. 1 more shot at trying to keep it alive. Can they do it?
And there's so much wave clear. We've talked about this already. The ventilator, the mines, all of the different things that Twin Blast has. The gadget is so hard to push into. She can put a Tesla dome out, hit all 3 of these waves once they're to the core. So they might have to retreat as the Orb Prime buff is starting to fall off of them. The Primal Fang Tooth has already diminished as well. So it is going to have to be a reset out of Professors. It's going to have to be 1 last push in here, a little bit more life. Another opportunity for D-Lab. How are they going to use it to turn this around, 6?
They're going to have to push these lanes out. They're going to have to. And 3 inhibs down, that's a lot of clearing of waves you're going to have to do, Lance. But the Primordial Fang Tooth is coming back up. The Orb Prime is following up as well. They need one of these neutral objectives to really apply back the pressure that Professors are putting on top of them right now. And for them to really defend their lane, they're going to have to come together, 1 more big fight, and just get themselves in the mindset of, hey, I know we're not where we want to be, but we can definitely do this, pull this out, get this last fight go in our favor, and we could potentially be going for 1st and 2nd instead of 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, and they're going to collect the river buffs that were still up because they were in the enemy's base, unable to take them from or for D-Lab here, and they've got their eyes set on this Primordial Fangtooth, and they're smart. They can take this slow. They know that they have to push into the lane, and eventually somebody from D-Lab is going to have to base and try to answer that. They see that at a Lakeinator now. They see him over on the right side. There is no Twin Blast, who is the majority of the damage for D-Lab, and that means Professors is going to pull the trigger, and this is going to be it. This should be the fight that ends up deciding this. If they're going to just give this away to Professors, they have got a very slippery rope they're going to have to try to climb covered in oil in order to be able to get up there. And actually, it looks like Grady came in and stole that.
Did he? No, he's not going down.
It hasn't gone down? No, it hasn't gone down, but the fight is on. Violence is getting the resets off. He got 1 down. He got 2 down. Both Lobber and Grady are down for it, but they're going to trade that back. Crazy Fool is going to get picked up by Lakeinator over here as well, but they are retreating backwards. The minion waves are going to be hitting their base pretty soon, as there's going to be a double wave in the right lane. Resets are coming out from Professors. They have to get back to where this Fangtooth is, as the members of Dirty Lake and the boys are just kind of clearing these wards out here. They've got those empowered wards from Toshi in order to be able to set them down, but the vision is everywhere on this side of the map. Everybody knows that this is where the action is at, and Professors has the luxury of being able to commit all 5 of their members over to this side, where you see Appy Picker is now having to rotate in slowly from having to clear those minions, and she's actually not going to get them. They aren't going to get caught by the second wave from the minions in the base either, so they're going to take some core damage potentially, but the Fangtooth is what matters, and is going to be able to be picked up by Nitro with the hunt here. Not a lot of contention from D-Lab, but what are they supposed to do while their base is bleeding?
There's nothing they have to defend, or Prime. They're going to have to at least have the gadget inside to defend this. There's just so much pressure applied from these super minions coming into this base. And as we see the Professors going towards Or Prime here to get another buff to really secure themselves in the position to win this game finally on this next push coming up. But Dirty Lobber and the boys are there, 4 members, with Lobber rotating in, and as a fight kicks off, Stewart goes off and not going to be able to pick up a kill just quite yet. Grady goes down. He's going to be in there. Nitro pops his ult just to save him. Black Hole coming out on top. Down goes the Toasty on the Narbash. Twin Blast is in the backline still there. Lobber is trying to apply some pressure, but cannot take down Crazy Fool. Appy Picker is the only one left and running back to base lands. I think this is it. I think this is where they come in.
Yeah, 37 seconds still left on Toasty, who's not going to have the best defense either. That's going to be Violence picking up Appy as well, and that should do it. We are going to have both our finalists for tomorrow. We will see Professors take on even worse timing for set $1,750. Professor does it. Believe in the grind. 50 scrims in 20 days. It pays off. Let's go.
Omeda, I hope you are watching. These are the 2 teams coming in. You got the Professors coming in out of nowhere, just coming from the group stages of having subs, nobody believing them. Then you have even worse timing going into this final as well. The number 1 seed, the prior winner, these 2 Titans battling it head on September 3rd, tomorrow, Sunday. Please be there. Don't want to miss it, I promise.
I don't know where else you would be. The NFL doesn't start for 1 more week. Focus on Pred for 1 more week. I'm going to be there with F6 tomorrow. We're going to have some great casters as well. We're going to try to convince Crashy to come back if our good friend TJ DJ's tummy is still hurting for him. Mana Class is going to be back from earlier today. You're definitely going to see the 2 of us. I cannot wait. I do want to point out, a couple of days ago, I sent out a nice little tweet. You can find me over there on X. I said, I think Professors is cooking something up right here. I know that I had picked even worse timing on cutting to the core. I did a little bit more research. I got Professors in 5 games tomorrow. Mark it down. You can retweet it from like 4 days ago when it happens tomorrow. F6, say your last piece and send us back to R-Dog.
Honestly, Lance, I couldn't agree with you more. The way the Professors were looking in game 2 and 3, they finally got it to click. They got it to come back together. And my, oh my, what a game series we got out of Dirty Lake and the boys, and I'm not going to take anything away from them because they played in an outstanding 3 games of best of 3. But the competition today has been high, and it's going to be high tomorrow. So, our dog and the desk, please tell us what you thought of that game.
Thank you so much, Lance and F6. That was our last match of the day. If you really enjoyed what you saw, please give Lance, F6, a shout out to them. Follow them on Twitter, on Twitch, on Kick as well. But class was indeed in session. The professors were teaching some Predversity, get schooled, and get taught. 55 scrims in 20 days. This is now Dirty, Crazy, and the boys. Gotta give it to you, Meds, Mr. Dr. Professor Meds, MD, PhD. What did you think?
Oh no!
What a crazy game, right? I mean, it started from minute 1. Actually, even before minute 1, at like 43 seconds when they had that level 1 shenanigan going in that off lane, picking off Lobber at the start, and then it just kept on getting crazier and crazier with Crazy Fool picking up hook after hook after hook after hook after hook after hook after hook. The guy just didn't seem to miss, and when he did miss, it was a zoning hook, right? And it was purposeful. We'll say purposeful. No, he was putting up a class on that Richter, and it was a very well fought game by both sides. And if that is what we're gonna get tomorrow, I just want more of it. Give me more. Give me more.
That was great defense coming from Dirty Lake and the boys. We will still be able to see them. They're going to play for that 3rd place versus FFG tomorrow. But very serious Cynic, what do you think about what we just saw?
I mean, Professors threw out some cheese and Lobber wanted a taste, and I guess he bit off too much because he decided to die in the early game. And as you said, Crazy Fool was landing hooks. I guess he heard the feedback previous game where he wasn't really doing much in the laning phase and decided to turn it up a notch. But after that, it was more like the violence and the Nitro show. Like, they were just causing so much chaos. The team composition had so much damage, and just D-Lab had no answer to that. Like, Lava can only get so tanky. He was being focused in the early game, so he was even further behind. I was actually surprised that he was able to recover as well as he did. But outside of Lakeinator, there was just no damage, and Lakeinator just either was zoned really early in a team fight, wasn't there in a team fight, or just got completely exploded by violence. His Feng Mao is crazy. Get it, just ban it, get him off of it, take it away from him, just put him back on the Grux. He doesn't look as dangerous as he does on the Feng Mao. And I mean, after they kind of broke the game open, it was just all Professors. There was nothing D-Lab could really do.
Yep, Violence woke up and chose himself today. We are going to be back tomorrow with our 3rd place series, as well as our best of 5 grand finals. So FFG and D-Lab will, fight for that 3rd place matchup. They're all fighting for that $3,500 prize pool. But for our grand finals, we've got even worse timing versus the Professors in a best of 5. This is a match or a series you don't want to miss. So, we hope to see a lot of you, all of you there. Actually, just cancel whatever you've, scheduled tomorrow, whatever appointment. You don't need to clean your teeth if you're cleaning your teeth. It's like a freaking, it's a Labor Day weekend, okay? So just come here and show some love. These teams and these players have been working so hard for that. But anything you'd like to add about what we're about to see, what we're going to see tomorrow, rather, I should say, Mr. Meds?
Yeah, all I have to say is, where do you think that mouse got its hat? Let's say the Professor is doing some experiments on that mouse and gave that mouse its hat. So I think that we're going to see some Professor's magic coming out. And I think we're going to see Professors put a big fight against that mouse.
Lance said Professors in 5, and you're saying you're sticking with Professors, huh? What about you, Cynic?
EWT 3-0.
Oh, He's going
No,
with the EWT.
no shenanigans.
No? Okay. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, everybody. We definitely had a long day ahead of us, but I hope you had a blast just like us from PCC. This event would not be possible without the players. Thank you for being a part of our tournament and giving us banger after banger after banger. Thank you to our moderators, casters, desk analysts, our behind the scenes team, Moogie, Joe yours truly, Mr. Meds, Cynic, Stranger, 94J, Joel Circana, TDM Choice Plays, Craze, Lance, F6 Hot Sauce, Man of Class, and of course, Crashy. Lastly, thank you for tuning in and being a part of this. Thank you for all the raids. Thank you for the subs, the follows. We see you. We appreciate it. If you like what you see, give us a follow. Please give us a sub so you don't get ads. And you can find us on Zitter as well. Find us on YouTube. Drop us a subscribe, a follow, and of course, join our Discord. My name is Ardog with the triple G's. That's the name. Don't wear it out as your host. Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Meds with his snazzy fit. Thank you so much for being a part of our stream. How do we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, just at Mr. Meds. Yep, pretty much it.
Drop him a follow, you guys. And Cynic, I know it's really late for you. You're all the way from the UK. Thank you for your top-notch analysis. Please drop your socials.
It's just at Cynic QK on Twitter. I'm active there all the time.
Thank you so much, everybody. We hope to see you tomorrow for our third place series and the grand finals at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Go on your phone right now. Set an alarm. You're gonna wake up tomorrow. You're not gonna sleep in. You're gonna be here, and you're gonna watch some banger games along with us. But we are going to raid someone here. Thank you so much again for everybody who's been a part of our stream. We are going to show Wumba some love. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, well.